So what I've done here, since I don't have the hand history, is I just took a PokerStars table, 9-handed, as this hand happened on a 9-handed table, and I'm sitting under the gun with a stack of $6,500 in a 5-5-10 game. The only player that is going to really matter in terms of how big his stack was the guy directly to my left. Really strong player from New Jersey. The guy's name was John. So for his avatar, we just picked Ron from Jersey Shore, as I feel it's a good depiction of our very strong guy from New Jersey. To his direct left, we had some young whiz kid, European. I don't know. I don't think this is what all Europeans look like, but pretty good description of what we had going on that table. And then to his left, we had Learned from TV, Tom Chambers, and this was actually the day after I met Tom, and we met just playing on the 5-5-10. And all the other players on the table were variations of ATMs, fish, or there was one really tight guy on the button. And it actually surprised me quite a lot that he straddled. So moving right ahead here, I get dealt ace-ace, 10-2 under the gun with one suit, and this is a very easy raise for me. I'm pretty sure the blinds must have called, and I messed it up in doing this whole writing down what happened, but that's irrelevant. It's just $10 difference in the pot sizes in later on. So we open, and Ron immediately re-raises us to 120. We get a call from the young guy that we think is pretty good. I don't remember what his stack was, but it was enough that I didn't really want to make the pot too big with a guy to my direct left who I think is good, who has me covered. And same thing goes for Tom. He must have had between 2,000 and 3,000. I'll just assume the two of them had between 2,000 and 3,000. Action comes back to me. Everyone is now folded. And I have the option of either full potting, calling, or making a weird raise. And I think if I'm going to raise, I must full pot because I want to get as much money in pre-flop as possible. But at the same time, if I do that, it's going to cause a lot of trouble for me having Ron, who we've already established as a strong player, to my direct left, and then behind him is, you know, somebody I consider to be very capable in the whiz kid avatar, and then Tom Chambers, we know he's not going to make any huge mistakes at any point in the hands. So if I inflate this pot, I'll be able to get 10% of my stack in with another 1,200 big blinds essentially behind, and I really don't want to commit myself pre-flop to that big of a pot. So I take the line of caution and also disguise my hand quite a lot by just calling, and we're going to go to the flop. Before I go on, if the deuce had been a deuce of clubs and I was double suited, I would 4-bet this regardless of stack sizes because it increases the flops that I will gladly stack off on. But with just one suit and so much money behind, and, you know, a really strong player to my left who has me covered, and then two other players that I thought were playing pretty well, it's just, I'm putting myself in awful shape, and I really don't know what a good flop looks like four ways. And one last point, for anybody going to play live, forget the notion of trying to isolation raises, because they just really don't exist, at least in my experience in the 5-5-10 and 5-10-25 games. All you're doing when you 3-bet is inflate the size of the pot and make the person's call behind you more, as live players just love to see the flop. So whether you make it 3 big blinds or 30 big blinds, if they've decided they're calling for 3, they're calling for 30. So you really need to work that thought process into your game.